Hi everybody, welcome back. Today for you I have the long-awaited that has taken me forever to finally get done. But what I'm bringing you today is my review, demo, and swatches of the Emily Edit The Needs palette, brought to us from Makeup Revolution. So if you are not new to my channel, then it is no surprise to you that I love Emily Noel. I adore Em. She is just so sweet, salt of the earth, such a genuine person, Southern Illinois girl like me. So I have a running joke that we're best friends. She just doesn't know it. Followed Emily's career since the very beginning. I think I probably came in when she'd been on YouTube for about 6 or 9 months. And I can't even recall how on earth I found her, because if you remember YouTube from 11 years ago, it was way different than it is today. So we're going to go over today with the Needs palette, but do not fear. Next up, we will go over the Wants, but this palette is so big, it gets its own video. Let's go ahead and get into swatches.
Wasted, my heart grows heavy.
Now that you've seen the swatches, let's go ahead and get into the demo for the eye look that I brought for you today. So now I'm going to tribute to my girl Emily, and I'm going to use the Milani eyeshadow primer, which is something I usually don't use. Now this one is just a little bit more tackier than I am used to using. So unlike Emily, I know she doesn't do this, I am going to go ahead and set the eyeshadow primer with the shade Kindness. Now we are going to take this a pretty simple daytime everyday look. I'm going to go into the shade Peace. We're going to use that for the transition. Next I'm going to take a crease brush and I'm going to go into the shade Faith, and we're going to put that throughout the crease. Then I'm going to take a clean blending brush and we're just going to blend over that. Now I'm going to take my Precision shader brush. I'm going to go into the shade Hope. I'm going to pack that out on the outer half of the lid and into the outer V and pull some up into the crease. Then once again with the clean blending brush, we're just going to blend that throughout. So now I've got the outer corners a little bit more deepened up, packed on a little bit more color out there and kind of blended it until I got to the intensity I wanted. I'm actually going to take the shade Gratitude, which is our highlight shade, and I'm going to press that in on the first third of the eyelid. I'm now going to take my blending brush and dip into Peace and just go ahead and go back through the transition area just to make sure everything is well blended. Now I'm going to dip back into the palette and go back into the shade Faith. I'm going to pick up just a little bit and kind of help marry the two shades that we have going on the lid. I'm now going to go into the shade Love. I'm going to put that up in the brow bone. And then I'm going to take just a little hint of Gratitude, put it right under the arch of my brow, and go ahead and brighten up that inner corner just a little bit more. Now I'm going to go ahead and work the lower lash line. I'm going to take a little bit of ColourPop's Best O liner, and I'm going to put that just in between the lashes. And then before that has time to dry down, I'm going to go ahead and dip into the shade Hope using my flat definer brush and smudge that liner out. Then I'm going to take a little dip into Faith on my little smudgy brush here, and we're going to go ahead and smoke that out slightly. And as often happens after I do the lower lash line, sometimes I feel like I need to build my outer corner a little bit more. So I went ahead and went into Hope for a couple more taps, built that up just slightly, and then blended it. Then I'm going to go ahead and give my lashes a quick curl, do a coat of the L'Oreal Lash Paradise Voluminous on top, and Cover Curl Clump Pressure Water Resistant on the bottom. And so this is our finished look. Like I said, I went like as basic as I possibly could. I mean, let's be honest there, I'm not too basic when it comes to makeup. But I really think that's what this palette kind of is. This is a really good go-to of the basics, the needs. That's what it means. The things you need to create a look. So first off, we'll talk about packaging. It's a hard plastic, but it's not like super cheap plastic, but then again, it's not like really expensive plastic. You know, it's kind of like somewhere on that middle ground. It is this very pretty pink blush color, Emily's signature, and that is her real signature. She talks about it in her video, embossed in rose gold, which is just gorgeous. First thing you can't help but notice, and look at mine, I mean, This isn't going to blind anybody because it's so covered in fingerprints, but there's a huge mirror in here so that you can get your job done. So this is a pretty complete palette. It has everything that you're going to need to accomplish a look. Day, you can kick it up a notch and go night. You can, I don't know, hit wherever. I don't know where I am at. Am I day? Am I night? I don't know. I'm Leyla. There we go. So you've got a really good bronzer, a really universal blush, a really pretty highlighter. Then you got the shade over here, Kindness, which is kind of like, some people could use that for like almost translucent type setting powder under the eyes. It's too light for me to use it in that capacity. But you can also use that to mix in with things. So if you think you get your bronzer a little bit too deep, you can take a little bit of Kindness and kind of go over that and buff it and lighten that up a little bit. I really like that. And I really like the name Kindness for that, because sometimes your makeup can be cruelty. You need a little bit of kindness to help fix it. Then over here, you've got your eyeshadows. Now, all of these are matte except for the shade Passion. Passion is like a black plum glitter. It's the best way to kind of describe it. It does have very micro fine particles of glitter, so you're not going to have big chunks. You are probably going to get a little bit of fallout with it because it contains glitter. And that is just the rules when it comes to playing with glitter. So these shades that were pulled into here were actually pulled from other Makeup Revolution palettes that Emily has loved, that she curated. A lot of these, I believe, come from the Neutrals versus Neutrals palette. This blush Joy here actually comes from the Hot Spice blush palette. One of my favorite blush palettes anyway. I have it down here in the drawer, and this is one of my favorite colors in that palette. I tend to use this one a lot. Courage, Gratitude, and Kindness, I believe, came from the Contour Highlight palette, or maybe just Courage and Kindness did. I'm not so sure about Gratitude. I feel like it's been a little while since I watched the video where she was explaining all of this, so whatever I miss, I will link that below, the launch video. That's who you should watch. Right now, we're just watching my take on what I think of this. It's kind of hard for me to come on here and tell you guys, what do I think about this, blah, 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 because we knew, regardless of what I thought about this, I was going to buy this just to support Emily. Now, what I will not do is come on here and tell you, oh my God, this is fabulous and you need to go out and get it, because me choosing to support Emily is my choice. Whoever you choose to support is your choice. So that's not going to affect my review on the quality of the products. So I just want to kind of get that out there because, you know, I know a lot of people think that, you know, oh, she's got Emily, she's just it's gonna be amazing, blah, 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 this and that. No, if there's some stuff in here that I don't kind of, and there are, I'm gonna tell you guys that. So we'll start off with the shade Courage. That is going to be your contour shade. That is pretty darn universal. It's all about how you apply it. Courage shows up on me, definitely. I can even sometimes get a little bit too heavy-handed with it. Joy, I just find that to be a really universal shade. It's kind of a peachy, orangey, pinky. It's kind of all of those things rolled into one. It's just a really good neutral shade. The shade Gratitude. This is a really pretty highlight. As you can see here, you can put this on pretty boldly, but you can also take it pretty subtle as well. Now, the color Courage here, the bronzer, you are going to get a lot of kickback from that. It's just a really soft powder, so you're going to get a lot of kickback from that. You're going to want to dip your brush in very carefully. As you can see there, I mean, that's like one tap. You have to be really careful with this one. Like I said, it can work on me. I think it can probably get 1 or 2 shades even deeper than me and still show up. Now, next thing is, look at the size of these pans. They are very small. Yes, this is the e.l.f. complexion brush, but this is usually what I use for bronzer. This brush is huge. As you can see, it is really big. Most of the time, though, when I'm going to contour, I'm going to hit the side of the brush anyway, so it picks up the product where I need it. You can use the rest of the bristles to kind of, you know, blend it out. As for blush, this is usually the blush brush I use. This is the Luxie blush brush, and it is just like my favorite one. Again, I kind of dip, then tap off and go to town. For the blush and the contour, ideally they are not a very good size at all. I get the whole thing, how they wanted to keep with the theme of everything, but I almost wish that they would have squared it. So they could just put in square pans instead of just a whole bunch of round and ovals, because I think it would have been a little bit more user-friendly for people's brushes. As for the eyeshadows, I said in the beginning of this video, I have never used Makeup Revolution eyeshadows. Guys, have I been low-key sleeping on this brand? I mean, I'm really serious. Has anybody else out there used Makeup Revolution eyeshadows that also has this palette? I feel like I need to go out and buy another one of their palettes just to see, did they amp up the formula for this one for Emily, or is this their normal formula? Because let me tell you guys, these are amazing, and they're really pigmented, and they blend really, really well. Much more so than I was actually expecting. So when I got this palette, I mean, I watched Emily's demo on it, and she said, guys, this, seriously, one tap, tap in, tap out. And I'm like, wow, really? Is it really that good? Or is her palette just the good one? Because you know that happens. You know that happens out there. We know that happens with PR in the beauty world. But that was not the case. I was so pleasantly surprised by the quality of the shadows. They are super, super pigmented. The shades Honesty and Faith, now those are going to definitely kick up when you put your brush in them, but they are so heavily pigmented, guys, that you have to really be careful with them. The shade Peace, that is just such a nice transition color. It just glides on with a little effort, doesn't stick, doesn't cling, doesn't get patchy, nothing like that. The shade Passion is a little bit more tricky to work with, and I'll explain to you why. Passion is a black plum with glitter. Like any shadow that is this particular color, if you blend too much, you'll blend away too much of the plum and you'll get left with gray. You know what I mean? So just because of that color, that can be a little bit, I don't want to say difficult, I'm going to say intimidating, because if you are not new to makeup, then you pretty much know how to kind of work a shade like that because you've come across those kinds of shades before. The shade Hope in this palette is the one shade that I think is the hardest next to Passion to work with. The thing that makes Hope a little bit more difficult to work with is it is a little bit patchy. It's not terribly patchy. It's not anything I can't work with or make work. It just requires a little bit more attention to detail. And you kind of have to build that one up a little bit more to get it to the intensity you want to. Now, if I remember correctly what she said in her video, that kind of is by design, because that is a deeper and darker shade. It takes a little while to kind of build it up so that you kind of don't go overboard with it, which can happen as well. So it is what it is. That's just my truth on this. Like I said, I would not give this, oh my God, you need to run out and buy this review. I'm going to be honest with you guys and tell you what I think about the whole thing. Now, let me give you some claims, some deets, and all that jazz. This palette retails for $15. That's right, $15. Available at Ulta.com and RevolutionUS.com. Also available in Ulta stores. However, they are currently out of stock and should be, I believe, restocking sometime either this week or maybe just a couple of days ago past. I'm not really quite sure when they said that restock was, or when this video is getting uploaded. You guys know the deal. You know how this stuff works behind the scenes. So, what are my wrap up, my overall? This is so hard to film, guys, because I'm so emotional about so much of what's going on here. It's like I want to give this palette a really good review because it so deserves it, but at the same time I have to kind of be careful because I don't know, why do I feel like I need to be careful? I'm like this. Leyla is Leyla. Layla's not going to lie for anybody, anytime. Is this palette worth $15? Absolutely. Who is this palette for? This palette is for anybody who is in need of something that looks like this. This is a palette for somebody who maybe needs some of those neutral colors, who's new to makeup, who needs something that's going to hold up to travel, something that can go day to night, something they can use quickly and not have to think about it for the office. That's who this palette's for. It's also for anybody who wants to purchase this palette, such as myself, because, I mean, let's be honest, I have everything in here somewhere else. Guaranteed. So that is it, guys. That is what I have for you today. My weird, rambling review / demo swatches of the Makeup Revolution, the Emily Edit, The Needs palette. Definitely make sure you stay tuned because next we are going over this baby, The Want. Woo! Oh my goodness. Once again, I of course want to thank you as always for spending a little bit of your time with me today. I truly, truly do appreciate it. Make sure to check out Miss Emily Noel herself. I will leave her channel and the launch video linked down below. Go show her some love. And as always, before you leave, make sure that you are subscribed to my channel. You definitely don't want to miss out on any videos I have coming up. I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
I can't